Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Naomi and this is Conversations with Naomi. Before we begin, please note this video is for information and storytelling purposes only. It is not legal advice or connected to any personal immigration case. Let's begin our story now. Canada, a country many see as a safe haven, a land of opportunity and a place to rebuild. But behind the headlines and statistics, real families face life-altering consequences. In today's story, we will meet two families whose lives were upended by deportation and the fight to stay in the country they now call home. In our first story, we're going to talk about Reverend Rosalind Wanyeki. In early August 2025, Reverend Rosalind Wanyeki and her two children were deported to Kenya. They had fled religious persecution in 2020, seeking safety in Canada despite petitions, community support, and legal effort. Canada Border Service executed the deportation. Wanyeki had become a respected spiritual leader in her community, offering guidance and hope to those around her. But according to CBSA, deportations happen only after all legal avenues are exhausted. At the time of her deportation, Wanyeki still had two pending applications, an appeal for risk assessments and a permanent residency application. Decisions that never came before she was removed. Let's take a listen to CTV News reports on her case.
We turn to a devastating development for a pastor and her two children fighting deportation to Kenya.
This afternoon, her appeal was denied. Tonight, she and her family are being held in a detention center. Her supporters praying for a last-minute reprieve so she can stay. CTV's John Musselman joins us live with the story. John.
And Raheem, that looks like the only option right now to prevent them from going back to Kenya. As you mentioned, they are in detention tonight. The flight goes out tomorrow.
Reverend Rosalind Wanyeki and her two children walked into a hearing today at the Canada Border Services Agency office in Mississauga. They did not walk out. Her request to defer a deportation order back to Kenya has been denied. She and her two daughters, aged 9 and 6, have been detained. The family must leave the country tomorrow. We spoke to her in a telephone call from inside the detention center. She says her children are frightened, scared, and don't understand what is happening.
And first, they started crying immediately. We were told that we are not going out of the CBSA. So I had to calm them down.
Also not forgetting the trauma itself, what she's dealing with right now, the children themselves, the trauma they're dealing with right now, and the fragility of their age as well, that they have to kind of process all this all by themselves. They don't even understand what's going on, but they know they are at risk.
These documents obtained by CTV News show the flight leaving Pearson at 10:45 a.m. Wanyeki, known to many as Reverend Hadassah, came to Canada in 2020 with her young children. They say they were forced to flee persecution from a powerful church leader in Nairobi. Over the past 5 years, the family has created a life in Toronto. Wanyeki leads a ministry and her children attend West Hill Public School.
The community is grieving. We're calling on the immigration minister now and the public safety minister to step in. This is the only thing that can be done now.
Both their refugee claim and application for permanent residency under humanitarian and compassionate grounds have been denied. We reached out to both Immigration and Canadian Border Services. They won't speak to specific cases, citing privacy. Quote, we require written consent from individuals before we can disclose information about their cases to the media. A spokesperson for Canada Border Services Agency wrote, quote, the agency carries out removals based on a risk management regime. There are multiple steps built into the process to ensure procedural fairness, and the CBSA only actions a removal order once all legal avenues of recourse that can stay a removal have been exhausted.
Her story reflects the fragile balance between legal processes and human lives. Families uprooted, children displaced, and communities losing leaders who bring hope to them. For Reverend Wanyeki, Canada's doors close even after years of integration and contribution. Imagine being taken from the only home you have known for 5 years, leaving behind friends, neighbors, and the life you have built. All because a system didn't move fast enough to recognize your plight. While Reverend Wanyeki's story ended with removal, another family's fight to stay, not just for their safety, but for a child's life. Our second story today is that of Amirat Fayemi and family. Meet Amirat Fayemi, a 16-year-old cancer survivor, and her family from Nigeria. They arrived in Canada in January 2023, seeking asylum after their father, an opposition member in Lagos, was targeted for exposing corruption. Amirat, who survived leukemia, is undergoing ongoing treatment for a new blood condition. Her family applied for asylum, but their claim was refused. With their removal date looming on September 8, the family refused to board the flight, prioritizing her health and her life. Despite letters from doctors warning against air travel, CBSA determined her condition didn't justify delaying deportation. Her father's political situation in Nigeria further heightens the risk to the family. Community groups in Windsor have rallied behind the Fayemis, advocating for their right to remain. Supporters stress that humanitarian considerations and the ongoing health risks to Amirat should outweigh bureaucratic timelines. Let's take a listen to CTV News report on their case.
This is a day this Ontario family says is the worst day of their lives.
I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
Through tears and heartbreak, trying to find the strength to pack up everything they own, because this day is their last in Canada. They're set to be deported Sunday.
I never, ever dream this can come.
Taiwo Fayemi and her 9 children, 6 biological and 3 stepchildren, are from Nigeria, a country plagued by violence. They crossed the border from the U.S. to Canada 3 years ago, seeking asylum, after she says her husband was kidnapped, targeted because he's a politician for the country's opposition party.
Luckily, he managed to escape later, but because of the situation, the family who was vacationing in the United States in that time could not ever go back to their home.
Taiwo began her career in Canada as a personal support worker. Her kids started building their lives here in Fort Erie, Ontario. In that time, they say Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada rejected their refugee claim, stating there wasn't enough evidence to support they would be in danger back home. The family says they've applied to stay on humanitarian grounds, but are still being deported before their application is heard. Part of the family's claim is that one of the stepdaughters is battling leukemia in a hospital in Windsor, Ontario, and needs her family's help.
One of us has to stay, but they're not letting anybody stay to be able to donate their bone marrow for her.
IRCC has not responded to CTV News for comment. For this family, though, any response might be too little too late. Already saying goodbye to their friends that became like family, not knowing what life-threatening dangers they could face.
Everything bad. I feel so terrified.
When they have to fly back home and leave their new Canadian community behind. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Fort Erie, Ontario.
This story illustrates the human cost of deportation. Lives suspended in uncertainty, health at risk, and families living under constant fear. 2 families two countries, countless hearts impacted, and Canada's immigration system continues to balance law, policy, and human life. Behind every removal order are real people, real stories, and the hope that justice and compassion will prevail. These stories remind us that immigration isn't just policy or numbers, it's about human lives, families, and future. Stay informed, stay compassionate, and remember, every life matters. If you know anyone going through this, let us know in the comment section. Let's hear your experience and let's read your comment. Thank you for watching Conversations with Naomi. Please subscribe to my channel. That will be how the channel will be helped for other people to see. If the story touched you, share it and let's keep the conversation going. The story on this channel is for real people, real stories, and real conversation. Stay safe. See you in my next video and bye for now.